apologize, we're 1 minute late. Good evening and welcome to the Town of Babylon Planning Board. Today is August 11th, 2025. We do have one public hearing regarding a change of zone. Ed, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call the roll. Patrick Halpin.
Present.
Julianne Nolan. Gerald O'Neill.
Present.
Edward Wynn.
Present.
Frank Santos. Yumiko Healy.
Present.
Greg Axiola. Matt Esposito. And Rich Casey.
Okay, we have do we have a quorum?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Before we start the public hearing, I'm required to read the statement into the record. The planning board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the planning board may determine that any approvals, building permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the application are null and void.
First public hearing is Job 2326AE, G&R Building Corp. Proposes to demolish existing structures and requests a change of zone from B residence to SCMR Senior Citizen Multiple Residence in order to construct 4 two-story buildings for a total of 24 one-bedroom apartments with dens along with associated site improvements.
Okay. Council, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bazell Blanda.
We're good?
Bazell Blanda and Visconti with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay, have you had the opportunity to review the memo from Denise Graziano, the Commissioner of Planning, dated August the 5th, 2025, regarding this application?
Yes, we have.
Do you have any issues, any concerns, anything that you'd like to bring to the board's attention regarding any of the conditions, covenants, and restrictions?
No, Mr. Chairman, we consent to all the covenants and conditions.
Okay. And restrictions?
And restrictions.
Okay. Please proceed.
I'm here tonight on behalf of G&R Building Corp., seeking site plan approval and a recommendation for a change of zone from Residence B to Senior Citizen Multiple Residence in order to construct 4 two-story buildings which would have 24 one-bedroom apartments throughout. The premises is located on the south side of Cedar Road, about 573 feet west of Columbus Boulevard. It has a lot area of 1.37 acres with 177 feet of frontage on Cedar. The location on Cedar where we abut is a dead end that then has the Southern State Parkway to the west. It's presently improved with a 2-story dwelling and some small sheds, all of which would be demolished should this application be approved. The overall property is comprised of 2 tax lots, both of which are zoned Residence B. So a small portion of the premises abuts the Southern State Parkway on the west side, and then the rest of the westerly property line abuts a multi-res complex that is to the west and to the south and has frontage on Schlegel. To the east of us is a senior citizen complex with 63 apartments. Directly to the north, across the street from us, is wooded property that's owned by New York State. And then to the north and to the east are residential homes developed within the Residence B zoning district. So we're seeking to redevelop this site with 4 separate 2-story buildings. If we take a look at the site plan, we'll see that buildings A and B will have 8 units each, 4 up, 4 down. Building C will have 4 one-bedroom units, and Building D will have 4 one-bedroom units with a 2-story recreational center within the building as well. Ingress and egress for the site will be through the curb cut located in the center of the site with a compliant sized curb cut. Buildings will flank either side of the drive aisle as the cars come in, and parking will be in front of the buildings. We exceed the parking requirement for this site by 10 spaces, so 36 spaces are required, and then we're required that 10% of the required spaces be visitor spaces. So that equates to another 4 spaces. We are providing 50 spaces, 4 of which are handicap accessible. That is actually, I think, double what the state requires. The refuse enclosure is located in a catty-corner position to Building C, and it meets the requisite turnaround requirements. There is a turning diagram. Should the board be interested, we could show that later. All site lighting will be dark sky compliant, meaning that it's shielded and light will not spill over to adjacent sites. All of our stormwater will be contained on site as well with our drainage systems. Our rec center is within Building D, and it consists of a community area with a library on the first floor, and then a fitness center on the second floor. There will also be an outside rec area as well with picnic tables and bocce courts so that people can utilize the outside area. Each first floor unit will have access to an outside patio, and each second floor unit will have a balcony. So the ADA units that are within the buildings have 1,046 square feet, and then the rest of the units range from 997 square feet to 1,037 square feet, depending on the particular unit. Each unit will have 1 bedroom and then an open floor plan for living area and kitchen. And then there is a den that will have an opening that will be greater than 4 feet, and it does not have a closet, so it cannot be converted into a second bedroom. There's also a covenant that is being requested or required of us stating that the opening will be greater than 4 feet. There's a washer dryer in each unit as required. It is near the primary bedroom, you would say, and then there's a full bath, and there's also a powder room. The project requires minimum variances. Notably, we are under density, so we do not require a density variance here, and also we do not require a parking variance. The variances that we'll be looking for deal with setbacks, so like a front yard setback, rear yard setback, distance between buildings, we require a variance, and then we have a small RPZ room that's considered an accessory structure, and so that little RPZ will also require some variances. There is an affordable component of 20%, so here that will equate to 5 units being affordable. And again, if we look at the immediate surrounding area, there are other MR complexes surrounding us, as you can see to the east. That is zoned senior citizen multi-res and has about, I think, 63 apartments. And then to the south of us is a condominium complex that is zoned non-age restricted, just MR, and again, that fronts on Schlegel. And there are several other complexes within the area, as well as churches and single-family homes. As part of the extensive departmental review that was conducted, Nelson & Pope was the town's traffic safety consultant, and they did request a traffic study be done for this project. And we do have with us tonight Rebecca Goldberg from IEMG, and she can go over her traffic study and talk to the board about the results of that. And then also we have with us tonight our engineer, Andrew Stolzenberg from ALS Engineering, should the board have any questions regarding the site design specifically or drainage, things of that nature. So if the board has any questions for me at this time, I can answer them. Otherwise, I would call up my traffic engineer to go over the traffic study.
Okay, before you do that, do any of the board members have any questions for the attorney? No? Okay, please proceed.
Do you want me to leave the site plan? Do you need it? Okay. I'll just take my stuff and do that. Okay.
Okay.
Good evening. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Of course. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. My name is Rebecca Goldberg with the firm IMEG, I-M-E-G. Business address is 177 Crossways Park Drive, Woodbury, New York, 11797.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please proceed.
Thank you. So I'm here tonight to summarize the traffic and parking study that I prepared to address the town's traffic safety review comments. As a high-level summary, we identified a key intersection just east of this property, vetted it with the town's traffic safety reviewer, and we took peak hour traffic counts at that intersection, which is Cedar Road at the intersection with Center Street, Columbus Boulevard. We did those counts last spring during typical weekday AM, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock AM, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock PM on a typical weekday, and then Saturday from 11 in the morning to 2 o'clock PM. And these are all standard peak hours for residential assessment. We projected those counts 2 years out to model traffic without the project, and then we calculated the number and likely distribution of traffic to model conditions with the proposed development. And we do this using peak hour information in a standard reference called the Institute of Transportation Engineers, or ITE for short, 11th edition of the Trip Generation Manual. So the last part of the study simply compares traffic flow without versus with the development using Synchro software that follows the latest version of the Highway Capacity Manual. So the study projected at most about 1 car every 6 to 12 minutes that might come in or out of this property. The total numbers during the respective peak hours for the morning is 5 trips in an hour, weekday afternoon, 6 trips in an hour, and Saturday midday, 9 trips in an hour. And these are two-way totals, combination of entry and exit. The net increases are slightly smaller compared to as-of-right uses, basically reduce those numbers by 1 or 2 at most. But the numbers are very small in traffic engineering terms, and they will not affect local traffic. And the study's analysis bears this out. There are no level of service changes and minimal delay increase, if any. All approaches would operate at what's called level of service A, which is the best level of service grade that the software can yield. Touch very quickly again on parking. Nicole mentioned already, we are a 10-space parking surplus compared to code. We satisfy the visitor parking count, and we have double the handicap parking space count that's required. Dimensions are also large enough to satisfy or exceed town standards. So that means parking spaces are 9 foot by 19, and the drive aisle is 26 feet rather than 24 feet in light of the 2-story residential proposed use. With that said, one of the items on the town's planning memorandum is condition number 12. Quoting that quickly, the applicant would contribute to a fund for the installation and maintenance of emergency vehicle optical preemption equipment on traffic signals in the area. So just for the public's information, in case anyone's not familiar with that term, emergency preemption, it modifies the computer that controls a traffic signal so that if there's an emergency vehicle that's approaching with the siren and the lights activated, the first responder's traffic light will either stay green until the vehicle has proceeded through the intersection, or if the emergency vehicle is approaching a red light, the signal will end the other street's green light early to cycle through and give a green light sooner to that emergency responder. And the idea is to reduce emergency response delay. It's more of a local improvement, and it's not an impact from this individual application. And then just 2 last points for the record. The site plan also includes a 7-foot wide sidewalk along the frontage, and the town's traffic safety reviewer did issue a memo on June 18th, which noted agreement with the results of my traffic study, and they note that they have no further comments. So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Frank.
Question about the ADA spaces. Thank you. A question about the ADA spaces. Both of them are by, or the 4 of them are by buildings A and B. Is that where the ADA units are? Are there any ADA units in C and D?
I would defer to the engineer just because of them.
Okay. Why don't we
believe the
hold
answer
that
is yes.
question? In other words, you don't feel qualified to answer that question, at least knowledgeable to answer that question.
I
Is that
did not
correct?
develop the floor plans, so I'm not
Okay,
the person to
focus.
answer that.
Okay, fine. Any other questions? Jared?
Just a quick one. With the traffic count, does that factor in that this is a senior complex? Are there any variables different from this if it was a regular apartment?
Yes, it's a different, what's called a land use, so it's slightly different data for age restricted as opposed to non-age restricted.
Okay, good.
Because there's no school traffic and such.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, I have a question. Can we go back to the estimated traffic? What are those peak hours again during the workday, and what are they on the weekend?
Oh, sure. So the counts are 7 to 9 a.m., 4 to 6 o'clock p.m., and Saturday is 11 in the morning until 2 o'clock p.m.
Okay, and what will those counts be per hour?
Oh, for
And
traffic
during
generation?
During those particular peak periods?
Sure. So in the morning is 5 trips, a net increase of 4 compared to as of right. PM is 6 trips in an hour, a net increase of 5. And then Saturday is 9 trips. And again, these are totals of in and out, and the net increase is 8.
Are there any other questions for the traffic engineer? No? Okay. Thank you
Thank you.
very much. We have another person who would like to speak to us. Do any of the board members have any questions for the engineer? Come on, come up with any questions. So the guy can-
You had a question about the ADA units, right?
Okay.
Yes,
You want to ask about the ADA units, Frank?
So I see the 4 spaces that you have.
Yes.
And they're in front of building A and B.
correct.
And I was just wondering, because you mentioned you had the, how many ADA units do you have? And are they in A and B, or is there any in C and D?
So they are scattered throughout. There is an ADA unit in Building C, and there is an ADA unit in Building D. So we'll take a look at if we should maybe move them and scatter them so that there's one for each building or something like that. The traffic safety memo didn't say anything about it, but I understand your point, so we'll definitely take a look at it.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Thank you. Yeah, you should definitely consider having that closer to, is it, to which building? Building D has a ADA unit on the first floor? Is that what you said? I didn't,
Yes, so right now, I guess the closest handicap space to Building D, it's relatively close. It's almost in between Building A and Building D over there. But there is an ADA unit in Building C. So I think that's a fair point, and we'll take a look at that.
all right, good. Julianne?
Ms. Blanda, did you say that the apartment complex that is adjacent is already a senior complex?
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Are there any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board regarding this application? Have you had the opportunity to fill out one of those?
Yes, I filled out here. Do I have to hand it to you?
Yes, please.
All right.
Okay, please state your name and address
My
for the
name
record.
is Anthony.
Just give it, no, do it when you get to the microphone so we can record it all.
My name is Anthony Milling. I live at 119 Cedar Road. We are the second house from the dead end.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Tell me God, yes.
Please proceed.
Okay. Been a resident for 52 years there, since 1975, me and my family.
Hold on a second. Matt, could you pull up the residential community? Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So which house is yours?
119 Cedar
Okay,
Road.
right there at the end. Gotcha.
Yes. So we see everything.
Yes, you
Been there
do.
since, I think, 1975. I was probably 1 year old, right? The apartment complex that, I don't know anything about the schematics and stuff like, it could be a great apartment complex. I have nothing to do with that part. The traffic, I don't know the traffic report, but that senior complex at 110 Cedar Road, which we see every day morning when we come home, and it's not just seniors there. There's grandkids, there's people I went to school with. It's by senior name only. So I wonder if their traffic report says anything about that, because that'd be traffic too. Some of it's foot traffic. A lot of them don't have cars. Also, there's so much traffic over there, there's cars on the street from that complex. And I hope you guys have a lot of questions. Another one is safety. I'm gonna deal with safety first. My kids could barely play in the street. Anybody want to live in a community where the kids could barely play in the street? 99% of them say no, all right? Got people wheeling, pop wheeling, motorcycles, biking, things we never seen before growing up. Now I have to go, 5 people just running around, people just maybe brand new here, I don't know. It's horrible. I was thinking that it should have less traffic going across, not more traffic. So it was a shock. We just saw this sign a few days ago. We live at the end of the street. A lot of people ain't even see the sign. That's why they're not here. You ask me to see sign, they're like, no, because they have to go to the end of the street to see it. Nobody goes down there. Down at the end of the street, we also see almost every day prostitution, drugs. I wonder if their report has that, because they're traffic people too. They are also traffic. So I want to actually rebut that to see if they have that on their traffic report, because those are cars coming up down the street. It's just during that, at the end of the street, there's tires hanging from the tree with people swinging on it, and it's a steady there. You have trampolines in the street. I think the same person that owns that house, I believe, right? Yes. So if you go to your house and you see from the street a tire hanging from a tree and it's never taken down, that lowers the property value, it's just horrible, and no one would take it down. Trampolines in the street for weeks, like it's their driveway. I think it's the same people that own that property. Is that true? I don't know. I'm gonna speak to you. I'm sorry about that. But if the same person that owns that property owns that property.
Is that property 120?
120.
120.
I don't know who owns that property, but there's a lot of people who live there, and they just do what they want at the end of the block, like it's their whole parking lot.
Okay, so you're referring to the activity at 120.
120 and down the road and the dead end.
Okay.
At that dead end, there's a lot of bad things that go on that we see every day, which is why our children don't leave the house unless supervised. The traffic is horrible. I don't know about this traffic report. I have no idea. But what I see is that there's people, that 110 is flooded with people, absolutely flooded with people who are not seniors. So another senior, if they don't get this corrected, how are they going to prove this one? I don't get it. This one's been bad for the last 10 years or so. So another one, would it make sense if this one don't get corrected? All right, and people can invest the way they want to in another person's community and make money because they don't have to live there. All right, I've been there for almost 50 years. Right, I can tell you, and I hope you guys have questions about. And also, it was strange about this. Counting for children not school or something like that. I heard something of that nature. There's kids that go to school, and that senior partner, that go to school. They go to school. They walk out and they go to school at the corner. So what does that got to do with anything? So the numbers have to be wrong, because if you can't get the numbers right there, you can't get the numbers right there, period. The same community, they're just people.
Hold on, do any of the board members have any questions?
Please.
I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. So I was at the property yesterday inspecting it, and this is why I asked Ms. Blanda if that is a senior complex, because the amount of cars that were there and on the street, and I thought it was odd. So then I thought I perhaps was mistaken that it isn't a senior. But yeah, and I also did see a swing, not with a tire on it, but with a wooden platform on the bottom hanging from a tree in the middle of the road.
Yes, that's what I was referring to. That one right there has a thing on the bottom. They have a tire, they have that, and they have a trampoline stuff. But that's the spillover. Those apartment complexes there, a lot of it going, I don't know what hours you went, but it depends on what hours you go there too, because it could be full. It could be full of traffic. They walk from over there and they walk right to their car, right? That's how I know. It's not rocket science at all. It's bad. It's bad already. Our kids cannot go in the street, barely. Right?
That's unfortunate, because when I grew up, we were on the streets playing ball and everything else.
One more thing to say. When I grew up there was 4 houses on the block.
Yep.
So I saw it all. I saw each house get built and the community center. and the senior center, which unfortunately wound up not being a senior center. It just isn't. Like I said, I went to a lot of school with these people and their kids. It's just been known for a long time.
Any other questions? No?
Please, safety. I'll answer all honestly. Before God, I'll answer it.
Hold on. Let me just make it really clear.
Yes, sir.
We've heard everything you've said, and all of those issues have been carefully noted.
Yes, sir.
We will be referring them to the appropriate agencies, the police,
Yes, sir.
public safety, and others.
Yes.
And we'll also look very carefully into the parking situation that you've raised.
Yes, and also just one last thing, that 120-seater, see how many cops was called there? See how many cops was called down there? No. And they, okay.
Just one point.
Since the owner owned it.
Just one point. I believe that house at 120 is being knocked down. Is that correct? That house is going away, and the people in it.
Yeah, but, no, I understand, but the same person that put them in it also did a background check, hopefully, on them, and they still got called.
No, I just wanted
Yes, sir.
to be clear in the
Yes,
fact
sir.
that
Thank you.
house is going away.
Thank you so much. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anyone else who would like to address the board regarding this application? Did you get a chance to fill out the form?
Yes, I did.
Okay, you could give that to Matt, please. Okay, please state your name and address for the record.
It's Ruth Pierre, 119 Cedar.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
So I purchased that property back in 2001, very quiet. There was not a lot of traffic, but I would say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, it's been really bad. The seniors complex is not a senior complex. The reason why we here, is because, one, we did not get notification saying that there was a hearing here tonight. Because I've been speaking to the rest of the community and my neighborhoods, they're telling me they never got a letter, they was not even informed, and they're having the same issue across the street.
Excuse me, was it posted?
There was a posted, but
Go ahead.
if you see how the layout is, it's all the way at the dead end. The people from the beginning of Cedar is not gonna be able to see that. And normally, we would get a letter. We didn't even was notified. So why I'm here is I wanted to know what is it that we need to provide you guys to look into this furthermore before you make your decision, because the rest of the people don't know what's going on. So I don't know if you guys need signatures, letters.
Let me just say, we're not going to be making a decision on this application tonight. We are not. We are going to, and I will read a statement into the record. We would welcome any additional information that you or your resident and the neighbors would like to provide us. And there are a variety of different ways to do that. Email, visiting the planning department to see all of the plans, all of the studies that you've just heard about, all of that and more. So, yeah, you'll have ample time to get that information. All of that is carefully reviewed by the members of this board and our staff.
Okay, great. Because we're not opposed of not being built, anything being built there, but another senior citizen center that whatever contract that they had with the town, they're not following it. They're not going by the rules and regulation. So how that's going to guarantee us that another person is going to follow the same rules and regulation?
Right. I'm not looking for an answer regarding this right now. This is Matt Esposito, our top planner. Matt, we'd be interested in knowing what the parking requirements are for the, at least I would be, the Senior Citizen Unit 110. What are they required to have in terms of appropriate amounts of parking for the number of residents or apartment units there? Okay, we'll look into that as well.
Okay, and also just let them know that we're not opposing if homes are being built there. We don't mind, because there is over an acre land there and it's not being utilized. But, people come, invest, but they're not living there. The quality of life right there is not good at all. We hearing music going off, and actually, this is the honest truth, a person that was intoxicated or had drugs in their system. She approached me. I want to be nice about saying the words that she is. She approached me and she yelled at me. She cursed me out in front of my own property. And she looks like she's about 28, 30 years old. And she's from across the street from the senior complex. And she threatened me. But I knew that she was not stable in the mind. So I left it alone. But then the next day, I found feces in front of my property. And it's not dog feces. It's, you understand? And that's what we're going through right now, you know?
Yes, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
So I just want you guys to look into this more in detail, because this is not right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? At this, sure, come on up. You could take your time.
Okay, hi.
In the
I mean,
meantime-
I didn't know about, oh,
No, hold on. Do you have the, Matt, do we have the, okay. You can fill it out after you speak? Oh, you did fill it out. Oh, okay, great, thank you.
so actually, oh,
Could you please state your name and address for the record?
yes, it's Lorraine Ricks Fields, 109 Cedar Road, Amityville, New York, 11701.
Go ahead.
Okay, so where my house is, I lived there all my life. I think I was maybe 6 or 7 when I moved on 109 Cedar Road. It was no house, it was like, yeah, like 4 houses there. You know, and then as the time, progressed and years went on, then they built what you called senior complex. It was never a senior complex. And my concern is safety. I'm right in the center, so I see everything. Where they're down the street, I'm right there. So I don't know if you can see the map, but I'm right there. I see it all. When the ambulance come, they can't really get in and get out the way they're supposed to. I witness drugs, I witness alcohol, I witness police, everything. In fact, we had a neighbor that just moved in a year ago that's next door to me, and they said if they would have known all the activity that took place, they wouldn't have never bought the house there. And these are really decent neighbors, very professional. We are all professional people. We all have jobs. They said they would never move there. So my concern is if the senior complex that they're gonna build down, it's a dead, first of all, it's a dead-end street. How do you have another traffic going all the way down the street until it's a dead end? We already are dealing with a lot of traffic, a lot of cars. You witness all the cars on the street. It's constant cars, back and forth, back and forth. And the senior complex that they have now, I thought it was rules and regulations. You have different color doors, nothing's the same. You have an eyesore, like I look right at it every day. The sign that says, it says 110, not 120. It's 110, it's for the last 15 years, it's been peeling. It looks horrible. Nobody's fixing that. Why? Who's responsible for that? I call, nobody does anything. I wrote letters, nobody does anything. It's really bad. So if you're gonna build another senior complex, it's just not good for the community. It's not good for the children, it's not good for anybody. I didn't plan on being here today. I didn't know about the sign. It's all the way at the dead-end street. So when they told me about the sign today, I took a drive down there, and I said, oh, wow, it is a sign. So that's why I'm here today. But nobody knows. So I went across the street and spoke to one senior, and they're not happy as it is now. They can't use the laundry. They can't use the amenities there. They said they're supposed to have all these different activities. That doesn't take place. And they're not happy with what you call a senior complex that's not really seniors. You have, like this gentleman said, it's kids. They're getting on the bus. I see it all. I see it in the morning. I see it when I get home from work. It's just not good to build another building with lots of, people there when we're not even getting what we're supposed to now. So, I didn't plan to speak. If I knew about it, I would have had all my information in place. But I'm just speaking, just speaking.
And you're speaking as a neighbor, which is important.
Yeah, and I've been there all my life. So and I love where I live. But at the same time, I work hard, I pay taxes, and it's just not fair that I have to look at an eyesore right across the street from me. I don't even like to invite people to my house because of that, So they need to get it together. What they're saying as senior is that just something they're using to get this done? Because it's not senior, it was never senior. And I'm a witness to that because I lived there all my life. I lived there, then I bought the house from my grandfather, and and I'm still there today. It was never a senior complex. And what he's saying right now, it was a tire hanging, it was stuff hanging in the street, it's Papa Wheelies, there's a lot of traffic up and down, and if a senior has an emergency where the complex is now, it's like, it's not even set up in a way where the ambulance can get in properly. Even the garbage truck, did anybody look at how the garbage man comes through? Like, these are the things you have to look at. They have to go in, back up, go in. That is not safe. It's the entryway for the senior complex now is not even safe. But, yeah, I'm good. But it would be nice for a hearing to take place where everybody knows about it, and I believe the sign should have been posted not just at the dead end, because that's where they want to build the entry for the new building. It's a dead-end street. It's not even like, it's one way in, one way out. How is that safe?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else that would like to address the board regarding this application? No? Okay, Ms. Blanda? Okay, you've heard the concerns of the residents. Can you state for the record, were there notifications sent to the adjacent property owners?
So there's a 200-foot radius map that is generated by the town of Babylon, and then the planning department handles the actual mailing to all residents, property owners that are on that list. I didn't touch this mailing. I don't do the planning board mailing.
Okay.
But everyone within a 200-foot radius should have received a letter. And then the other requirement is the sign posting.
Okay, Matt, what is the sign? Okay, maybe I should ask our attorney. Attorney, what is the sign posting requirement?
Sign has to be posted on the frontages of the property for the required time, normally 10 days. So it seems like that was done tonight. I have a question for Ms. Blanda. Do you know how many residents were on the mailing list that was done by the?
I don't, like I said, it's 200 feet, so it would have been mailed to the senior complex, which takes up a big amount of frontage when you do the radius, and then you have a condo complex behind us.
But it would have included
It should have at least included 119, I believe that says,
109.
yeah.
It should have included all of them. That's what-
Right, I don't generate the list, and I don't do the planning board mailing, so unfortunately, I can't really speak to that.
But you have the list, right? You have the names on the list.
I could provide it to the board afterwards. I don't have it with me right now.
So, but we don't know if these people that spoke tonight were on that list.
Correct, I can't confirm that right now.
Okay, but we do know that there may be another hearing that these people should be looking out for if this moves further, correct?
Absolutely, yes. But again, it would be a 200-foot radius. So sometimes you have to check back with planning and find out when, if there is going to be a town board hearing, when it would be scheduled. There's lots of resources that can be made available.
Can I just explain to the
Sure.
residents that are here? The planning board, which is what we are, our job is to look at the site plan. In other words, you raised a good question about the garbage at the property adjacent to this, being able to get in and out. So we'll look more carefully at that site plan. In fact, we'll ask some questions tonight regarding that issue and others that have been raised. The second hearing that the attorney is talking about, as you know, this requires a change of zone to allow senior apartments. The town board, who are elected, the supervisor and the town council members, they are the ones that make the decisions about changes in zone. So our task is to look at the plan for the apartments. The town board, though, they will decide whether or not this remains a residential area or a senior residence. So you've made yourself really clear, and my question to the attorney is, can the town require that notifications go to everybody on Cedar Street, even though it is not a legal requirement? Could we ask that that be done?
We can ask, but the town code controls that, and it's always done by a radius, whether it's 200 feet, 500 feet. If it's commercial, it's a different zone. The requirements of the code have to be followed. So if it was done properly...
Those are the minimum requirements.
Those are the requirements, right, for there is no minimum or maximum. The code simply states that residents within 200 feet will receive a mailing. Beyond that, there's nothing else required.
Okay, I understand the distinction. I guess another question I have is, where do they decide to measure that 200-foot radius?
Well,
is it in the middle of the property?
I think...
Is it at the end of the property?
I think it's from the perimeter of the boundary of the property line for all properties within 200 feet. Mr. Esposito can maybe expand on that further, but it should be 200 feet from the property line.
Okay. So it's the property line closest to the residences, or is the property line all the way to the west?
It's a radius, Mr. Chairman, so it would be 200 feet from the perimeter in all direction.
So it's 200 feet to the east, 200 feet to the west, 200 feet to the north, 200 feet to the south. So it's a radius. Okay. All right. Do you want to say something?
No, we're just trying to figure out how many houses may have been included in this. Looks like 2 or maybe 3.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, you have the radius list in the file, we can provide that to the...
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Just asking.
unfortunately, when we file with planning, we file in advance for the radius, we pay for it, and we don't actually receive it. And then when I go to town board, I have to reorder it, and at that point, I'll get a copy. So I don't even have a copy to provide the board.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any other questions for the attorney? Could we ask about the attorney? I'm sorry, Julianne.
Do we have a rendering available?
There should be. I
Final?
believe that we submitted one.
Okay, so that they could see what this is
Absolutely.
going to look like. And what type of management do you propose?
So our builder would be taking care of the landscaping, snow removal, things like that, maintenance. They have a real estate office. They would be doing the management. I can't speak to what's going on at the other senior citizen complex. We don't own that, and we're not in any way affiliated with that complex. It was built, I believe, back in like 1990. I don't know who owns it today. Back then, I believe it was Casada organization that built it. I would imagine there's covenants and restrictions that, of course, the town could enforce. But when I foiled for those records for that site, I couldn't find any approvals or anything that would give me any indication of how that site came to be. I got a letter from the building department acknowledging that there was a CO for those 5 buildings and 63 units, But curiously, I could not find a ZBA approval, a planning board approval, or a change of zone approval. So that from my perspective, when I foiled, I just didn't. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't even have those records.
So you will have a real estate agency or office that is going to be accepting applications, that is going to be interviewing proposed tenants. These are
Yes.
rentals, correct?
Yes,
And the age is 55
yes,
and over?
yes.
Okay. And what about children?
There should not be children on the site. So
Age 19?
Yeah. So I'm surprised that there are small children on the other site. That shouldn't be happening.
Thank you.
Did you want me to talk about our turnaround, our
Yes,
emergency
please.
vehicles
Yeah,
for our
if you-
site?
Yes, if you could.
So in our site
and
plan,
garbage, yeah.
I believe it might be page 9. It'll show a diagram of our truck turnaround for refuse. Oh, okay, there you go, page 10. I was close. So we had to create a turnaround radius that would comply with the town DEC regs for the refuse trucks to be able to come in and out to the site. And at the same time, it also helps with emergency vehicle access because of the hammerhead that's created, and then there's the turning radius that we comply with. So we wouldn't, if emergency vehicles had to come to our site, they would be able to come onto the site and then turn around and get back out. They wouldn't have to utilize the dead end.
All right, any other questions? No? Okay.
Did we want our traffic engineer to come up and address anything else related to traffic?
Are there any additional questions regarding traffic? Okay. I do have a question for planning. Is there parking allowed on Cedar Road? That's a question we could get an answer to in a subsequent meeting. Could you check that out, please? All right. Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to request a motion of the board to close the hearing and reserve decision. If we could have a motion from Frank, second by Tamika. All in favor? And we will also be reserving our decision. So the public hearing is now closed. The decision, though, as I mentioned before, has been reserved in order for us to review the feedback that we've received this evening in any open site plan issues. The record will remain open for written comments. To follow up on the status of the application or to submit additional written comments, you can contact the planning department in a number of different ways. In person, planning is located on the west wing of Town Hall. Application documents, plans are available for inspection between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. or by phone, 631-957-3103, or by email, planning comments, that's one word, planning comments @townofbablinny.gov. Okay? Thank you very much. And again, there will be a public hearing regarding the zone change. So you can check in regularly, and I'm sure, do we have your email addresses and all that? We probably do on the, let's check. Okay. Oh, we don't have an email. Nobody's email. Okay, Lorraine? Okay, Ruth? Why don't you put... Anthony? Anthony? I mean, you don't have to.
Well, I would love to.
But we'll keep you, we'll make sure you're on that notification. Okay, so that concludes the public